Hi, this is Ashio. Welcome back to Echo. We have started Flynn's route, and there's no two ways about it. Flynn is a bit of a horny guy, and I don't know, I'm a bit of a safer word channel, sort of. I do swear and stuff, but if things get explicit, I'm just gonna glaze over and give you a bit of a summary after whatever happens. I'm sorry about that, it's just how it's gonna be. But yeah, Flynn tried it on with us just now, and then he kind of cut out halfway through. And we're gonna move on from that and see what happens next. We're headed down Elizabeth Street after dropping Carl off, the drive only a little awkward. Flynn's really good at acting like nothing's wrong when he wants to, and I'm totally fine with that right now. That's when I see a set of familiar ears through the window of the convenience store. Hey, is that TJ? Flynn ducks his head to look out my window. Yeah, looks like it. He flips a U-turn, which isn't a big deal since no one's in the road, and pulls up into the parking lot. What are you doing? I'm stopping by to say hi. Okay, I guess I need to buy some stuff anyway. I look out the window so Flynn can't see the look on my face. I already know that this is a bad idea. Oh no, TJ's at the register and his ears flick in our direction before he turns to see us. At first he smiles when he sees me, but then his ears fall flat as he sees Flynn come in behind me. Jenna pokes her head from behind TJ, and now I know that this is a really bad idea. They're both a little dirty, and TJ has his backpack on. I wave at them to let them know I've seen them before moving toward the back of the store. I need to get some bottled water, since I don't really like drinking from the faucet in the motel. I hear Flynn say something as he walks up to them, and I silently hope that by the time I get back, everything will be magically resolved. Because the old corner market closed, this is the only place where I can buy food, aside from the diner. Looking around at the selection, I can see why Flynn takes the 30-minute drive to Peyton to get his food. I grab a few water bottles and head back to the front. My hopes of a resolution are dashed as I see the awkward situation unfolding in front of me. Uh-oh. TJ's standing on the other side of the Jenna now, keeping her between him and Flynn. No one's saying anything as I get to the register, the air tense and TJ fidgeting with his facial fur. As I pull out my wallet, I look at Jenna. Hey, how was the hike? Fine. Hot. Ah. A red fox I don't recognise takes the $2 I hand to him. I feel Flynn shift around next to me, then I hear him take in a breath. Hey, Tej, Hey Flynn, did you forget what happened yesterday? I cringe. Jenna's tone is sharp, and now I just wish I could turn invisible. What? Can't you tell he doesn't want to talk to you? Flynn doesn't say anything. The tension is so thick in the air, I feel like I'm back in the slimy pond. The cashier fox pauses in handing me my change, staring at Flynn and Jenna. Thanks. I almost yell as I reach out for the money, as if the volume of my voice will make everyone forget and provide Flynn the opportunity to escape. Doesn't work. We're not kids anymore, Flynn. You can't just treat us like crap and expect us to act like it's okay when you decide we're worth talking to again. Flynn's hunched forward, staring off to the side, toward the back of the store. TJ suddenly heads for the door, and I can see his face twitching as he passes me. Jenna follows him past Flynn, before turning around as she reaches the door. If you want to talk to us again, then you're going to have to act like an adult and apologise. Otherwise, later. She exits, leaving us in the most awkward, painful silence I've ever heard in my life. The clerk openly stares at Flynn. I fumble with the change in my wallet, trying to pretend like nothing happened. Do you wanna... Flynn turns and walks out the door. I watch him get in the truck, then pull out, his face expressionless. For a while, I stare at the empty parking space as I slowly shove my wallet into my back pocket. The clerk, without anybody else to stare at, is now staring at me. Dude, stop staring. Annoyed, I look right at him. What? He stares back at me, expression vacant. Huh? He's young, but the patchy fur and missing teeth and the look in his eyes tell me everything I need to know. I suddenly realise where I am, and where I come from, and this alone quashes all the good feelings I have left of the day. This fox in front of me practically embodies all the problems with the small town. I feel such a bizarre, intense wave of hatred for him that I have to leave the store. Pressing the 2 water bottles against my chest with one arm, I shove my free pour into my pocket, staring at the ground as I walk back to the hotel. Wow, Flynn ditched us. Okay, I'm sick of him thinking that he can do whatever he wants without any sort of consequence. Jenna rustles around in a drawer before using her hip to close it with a snap as she turns to me. I'll apologise to him once he says sorry for ruining the trip. I open my mouth and close it again. Of course, asking Jenna to make up with Flynn is a lost cause. It's like asking Cole to take off his beanie. Sitting on the bed, I glance at the bathroom door, the faint sounds of TJ's shower coming from within. I hear Jenna sigh before the bed wobbles as she takes the seat next to me. I'd probably feel bad if he hadn't fucked everything up already. I rub the back of my neck with a hand, trying to think of something I can say to convince her. It's just that Flynn is always like that. He doesn't mean anything bad. Yeah, well, I'm sick of having to deal with it. He needs to learn how to not to talk like an arsehole. This is one of the reasons why Flynn never fucks with Jenna, or really says anything to her at all. She's kind of exempt from the whole unspoken pact we made to just let Flynn's dickishness slide. Even sensitive TJ accepts it and takes the playful ribbing well enough. I hear the shower shut off, followed by the high-powered whoosh of the hotel's cheap dryer. Being a lynx, TJ probably had to stand in that thing for a good 10 minutes before he was even damp. We're adults now. If he wants to get anywhere in life, he needs to shape up. He's getting along okay. Jenna snorts. Yeah, if he's planning to stay here for the rest of his life. I mean, what's wrong with that? I can tell Jenna's giving me a look, but I don't give her the satisfaction of turning my head to see it. Seriously? Anyway, it's clearly a defense mechanism. He feels vulnerable without his I'm an arsehole blanket. I mean, you're not a psychiatrist yet, Jenna. I'm not going to be a psychiatrist, but you don't need a psych degree to see it. I don't respond, not seeing the point in arguing about Flynn any further. Jenna stretches and then gets up to go over to her laptop on the small table while I lay back on the bed closing my eyes. Absent-mindedly, I pull out my phone, discovering a text from Leo. Hello? I forgot to tell you that you are having a surprise party for Cole tomorrow. Okay. I frown and type out a quick response. You're telling this now? It's not till next month? What's up? Jenna's looking up from her laptop at the expression on my face. Leo says we're having a surprise party for Cole tomorrow. Oh, yeah. You knew? Well, yeah. Leo told us on the drive back from the river. Okay, my phone buzzes again. Sorry, but we're going to the store tomorrow and getting some presents, so don't worry about it. I frown. This is kind of weird. A whole month early. Jenna shrugs and looks back down at her laptop. Something to do, I guess. I type another response to Leo again. I have a lot to do tomorrow. I was planning to get more footage in the morning. Leo's always being weird. Do you follow any of his accounts? He's always posting pics of his food and stuff. My phone buzzes again. I guess I can get the present for you, but you're definitely going to the party, and then we're going to go out to see a movie. I suppose it doesn't sound too bad, as long as I'm able to get at least something done for the project. Something's still bothering me about the whole get-together though. Okay, I can go to the party, but I might need to stay and do more project stuff. What about Flynn? I send that one with some hesitation, feeling like me and Leo are conspiring behind Flynn's back. Then I remember what I did behind Leo's back with Flynn, and my toes curl reflexingly in a cringe. I mean, these Leo and Chase, they kind of broke up ages ago. So if he wants to go off with Flynn, I don't know, it's up to them, I guess. Yeah, technically it's none of Leo's business what I do. Yeah, exactly. But it doesn't change the feeling of wrongness I have about it. I toy with the idea of texting Flynn as well, but knowing him, he probably won't respond right now. I'm sorry. To you at least. Huh? I look up from my phone at Jenna, who's clacking busily away on her laptop. For what? Her typing pauses. Because pissing Flynn off like that is just going to make this an even shittier vacation. I sigh and look back down at my phone, waiting for Leo's response. Well, I don't know. I guess he needed to hear it from someone. Oh, here come Leo. I had a talk with him, it's fine. I'm about to say something else to Jenna, but I can hear TJ starting to open the door, so I shut my mouth and close my eyes again. Okay, so apparently Flynn is now fine, and it is gonna be Wednesday. It's party day, and for the first time Chase is still thinking about his project. Normally by this point he's abandoned it. I actually end up sleeping in the next day. Leo tries to coax me to go along, but but I mumble something about needing to finish the project. The next thing I know, it's an hour later and the motel room's empty. I chastise myself for the late start I'm getting and roll out of bed, skipping a shower and instead gathering up all of my equipment. I decide to head to the old school, mostly out of convenience. It's less than a mile up Main Street. It's broken down and vandalised to hell, which looks great through the camera. The original Echo School was built back in the early 1900s, but it was torn down and rebuilt in the 50s. That's the building I'm looking at now. Apparently all grades were combined into this one building, which was sectioned off by 3 floors: Echo Elementary, Echo Junior High, and Echo High. After 1980, there were too few students to keep it functional, and they started busing everyone to Peyton instead, closing Echo School down. It's a 2-storey brick schoolhouse with a basement and about 30 rooms inside. That's quite big. I remember my parents saying that after it closed down, it was a rite of passage to sneak into the school at night and graffiti up the walls. Basically, everyone drew the pentagram. I set the camera up to get a few shots of the outside of the school, making sure to emphasise the graffiti on the front and avoid the white soccer goal. Apparently Echo was still put in the field to use. The windows are foggy, and though there are dozens of squares of glass missing, it's pitch black inside. I calculate in my mind how long I'll be speaking over this portion of the footage, realising that it probably won't be longer than 10 or 15 seconds. I feel a little flare of annoyance at the thought of how much I'm putting into this and how little I'm getting out. I wonder if this is really the kind of thing I want to be doing, not for the first time. After about half an hour of trying different angles, I finally straighten up, wiping my forehead. The sun is up to the point of warming the top of my head, and I know that within half an hour I'll be burning up. I start packing up my camera when I feel a different sensation on the top of my head. A slight pressure and a prickle, the feeling that I'm being watched. I look back up at the school building. It's quiet, broken and stoic, like it has been for the past few decades. Still, my eyes are drawn to the second floor, specifically the window on the far right. I stare hard at it, narrowing my eyes. Behind the glass in the dark room, something curves out from the right side of the window. It's a lighter colour and it stands out in stark contrast against the black of the rest of the windows. Could be anything really, but as I stare at it, I get the same vibes as I do from Carl's horns. I stare at it, waiting to see if it moves, morbidly imagining a face peering out around the corner at any moment. Picturing Carl suddenly jumping out to stare at me from the windows, kinda funny. But also creepy, because I can't imagine what he'd be doing up there. The hairs on the back of my neck stand up and I look around, kinda hoping that someone might be nearby. It's deserted, of course, my only company being the sun-baked road and dried sagebrush. I turn my attention back to the spot next to the window, half expecting there may be a horn to be gone. It is still there though, not having shifted at all from when I first spotted it. I shift the strap of the camera bag onto my shoulder and stand up straight before moving a little closer to the building, next to the doors for a better look. Maybe it's the handle to something? Maybe it's the handle of an old watering can? Maybe for a class project forgotten long ago? Maybe? I shrug off the feeling and turn to leave. What is this? Enter the school. Should we with the... let's just go enter. Okay, we feel compelled to enter. Okay, something itches in the back of my brain. I look back at the door and can tell right away that there isn't anything holding it shut, at least not on the outside. Maybe I could get a few shots of what's in there. I walk slowly up to the door, a thin piece of plywood, definitely not what was here originally. A small tin, no trespassing sign hangs from it, almost completely rusted through. I give the door a tentative push and it instantly gives way, sliding noisily across the concrete ground. I guess we're going in. Inside there's a staircase right in front of me. To the left and right there are wide, darkened hallways. I'm just crossing over the threshold when I realise what I'm doing. Even if I did get some good footage, it would have been from breaking into the place illegally. I'd basically be filming a crime for a school project. The floor creaks above my head and I realise just how stupid this is. Alright, go back out. I turn back around, making sure to shut the rickety door behind me fully before I start back toward the road. It was a dumb idea, sure, and I've come up with a lot of stupid ideas, but for some reason I can't shake the feeling that had been especially weird. I'm at the end of the road when I remember the horn at the window. I don't turn around. No, do not look. So, how do you even know that he's here? Jenna eyes Leo as we make our way up the walk to Cole's house. As I'm looking up at the mansion, I think of how you imagine a lot of things being bigger when you're younger. Not Cole's house. I always forget how big it is when I see it again. Even kids from Paynton wanted to hang out with Cole because of it. Cole is here like 95% of the time. Besides, how would he get around without his parents? Jenna doesn't say anything as TJ bounds up to the door and rings the doorbell while balancing a cake against his chest. Hey, everything's so old-fashioned here. TJ seems to have cheered up since the incident a few days back. At least that's what he's been putting out so far. Sometimes it's hard to tell with TJ. We wait a while, but there's no answer. Jenna looks pointedly at Leo, who's pointedly ignoring her. He's probably asleep. And how do we wake him up? I want to ask where Flynn's at, but even mentioning his name around TJ seems risky. Leo's looking up at a window to the right of the door, about 10 feet off the ground. You know, if I boost you up, you could reach. Are you kidding me? I shift the bag of presents I'm holding, glancing down at the red tissue paper on the top. So, what did I get, Cole? Leo doesn't seem to notice me, continuing to frown at Jenna. How else are we going to wake him up? Oh, I don't know. Maybe by sending him a text in advance to have him meet us somewhere, rather than just going to his house completely unannounced. Leo huffs, and I can see his face getting red under his fur. Jenna has a fair point, but I still feel bad for the wolf. I mean, he usually is here, isn't he? Let's not fight, guys. It's supposed to be a party. TJ's genuinely disappointed voice seems to put a pause on the tense mood, and Jenna sighs before looking up at the window. I mean, I guess I could try. Great! Leo hops down off to the deck, but at that moment, a big rusty truck pulls into the driveway of Cole's house. It's Flynn, and next to him in the passenger seat is an unconscious-looking ram. The hell? Flynn parks before slowly and quietly opening the door. Flynn, what the hell are you doing? Leo wispy yells it as he walks up to the truck, glancing over at Cole, who leans back in the seat with his mouth hanging open. Even from here, I can hear him snoring. Hey, Wolf, if you still want it to be a surprise, you'll shut up. The hell were you doing? Flynn rolls his eyes. We went to the reservation? What? Why? Because it's something we do sometimes. I texted you that we were going to surprise him. Yeah, and that's why I'm here. Flynn rubs the back of his scaly head. Just a little bit late is all. Started winning more than I usually do, so Carl and I stuck around for a little longer. You were gambling? Of course, because that's all the reservation's good for, right? Oh. Flynn holds up his hands defensively. What's it all of you? Flynn's eyes settle on me, and for some reason I feel my heart give a jump. Chase, what the hell crawled up everyone's ass? I feel like that answer should be obvious, but if Flynn's trying to get things at least somewhat close to normality, then I'm fully behind him. You know how Leo is, his way or the highway. Leo shoots a glare at me, but I grin at him, trying to lighten the jab. I sense TJ further back behind me, separate from the group. I really wish I knew what he's thinking right now. Leo lets out a tiny growl before turning back to Flynn. I feel like you could have at least told us. Flynn sighs and glances back at the ram sleeping in the truck. Well, why don't you guys go inside so this whole surprise thing isn't as weird? It's locked. Flynn walks over to Cole's side before turning to us. Going through the back, there's a key under the doormat. Okay, we're in. We get into position in front of the door. TJ's a little more enthusiastic, hiding against the wall to the left of the door, a party popper in his hand. I hear a soft clopping, with the low murmur of Cole's voice. Door swings open, here he comes. Dude, I just want to put it behind me and not... Surprise! Cole stands there frozen as strings of confetti drape across his horns. For a moment, it goes completely silent, and we all stare back at him. Finally, TJ giggles. Oh, I didn't mean to get it on your horns. TJ goes about picking the confetti off Cole's head, his hesitant movements making it obvious how hard he's trying to avoid touching his horns. What? Cole finally breaks the awkward silence as he continues to stare at all of us, pushing TJ's hands away to pull the confetti off himself. Leo steps forward, a clearly forced smile on his face. It's your birthday? Happy early birthday! Cole continues to stare. Flynn steps up to his side and puts an arm around his shoulder. Yeah, you know, there isn't much to do around here, so we had to come up with something. But a birthday party for me? It's not for another month. Be happy, Cole. This is probably the last birthday party you'll ever get. Damn. Cole opens his muzzle and snaps it shut, his long ears twitching around. Cole, this is basically just a party. Your birthday's just an excuse to have it. Oh, come on, Jenna. We got you gifts and everything. Leo nods at me, and I take that as my cue to lift my bag into the air, grinning sheepishly. I mean, it was Leo's birthday last month. And so what? You just want to re-gift everything to him. Flynn gives a hard tug on one of Cole's horns, and he swats at Flynn's hand with more annoyance than I'm used to seeing him have. And cake. TJ raises the cake into the air. Flynn leans against Cole, pointing at it. See, red velvet, your favourite. I'm silently thankful that Flynn's trying this hard to not let Cole freak out. I think we're all a little taken aback at how much he's resisting. Cole's shoulders do droop a bit at the sight of the cake though. Where are the plates? Jenna's over at the cupboards, opening a few and looking inside. This kitchen's huge. Oh, second one over. At that point, we've managed to shake off the awkward haze we're in and start moving to the table. So, we got the whole day planned out for you? Yeah. Cole stands at the end of the table, one hand on the chair as he watches all of us. While I knew Cole wouldn't really be into the idea of a party, I didn't think it'd be this bad. I wonder if his anxiety has gotten worse since the incident at the university. We're going out to eat later, and then a movie. Thought you might want to see the new Lucha Lobo film, you know? Cole's hands go up and pull the beanie tighter over his head. Well, as long as you don't tell the waiters that it's my birthday. Oh yeah, isn't that place by the theatre where they basically force you to wear one of those cone hats? Yeah, and I swear to God, if one of them gets all touchy with my horns trying to put it on. What? You'll blow pot smoke at them? I think it's kind of fun. TJ's struggling to pull the plastic dome off the cake. Leo reaches out to help him, but it pops free at that moment and takes a large glob of frosting off the side of the cake. Ah, good one, Tej. We can give that piece to Cole so he can stay on his diet. Flynn puts air quotes around the word diet. An awkward silence follows, one that Flynn clearly notices, and I see him sulk in response. Cole coughs. I didn't have breakfast, so it should be fine. Leo claps his paws together. Well, we're having cake. Why don't we start opening your presents, right? Cole grabs the bag and unceremoniously dumps it out onto the table. He goes through them, giving obligatory thanks when he finds out who gave it to him. I see my gift for the first time along with Cole. It's the horn band, in black and orange. University of Pueblo colours. We used to make fun of the jocks that wore them in Pueblo. Thanks. He looks at me, as if trying to figure out if I'm joking or not, and I can only offer a pained smile in response. It's only now that I'm feeling guilty for not getting him the present myself. I'll get him another one on his real birthday. Flynn steps forward at that point. Here's mine, something I got from the reservation. Flynn reaches into his pocket and pulls out something small and hidden in his hand. When Cole sees it, his eyes widen. Oh wow! It looks like a rectangular piece of metal with 2 points sticking out from the top. It's not until Cole pushes a thumb against one of those horns and it pops open that I realise that it's a lighter. Now you won't look like a total loser when you get blazed. Cole gives Flynn a small smile before flicking the lighter on before snapping it shut. Thanks, man. Don't worry about it. Store owner actually gave me a discount. They still remembered me from all the smokes I used to buy there. You went all the way to the reservation for that? Cigarettes are untaxed on the reservation. Another thing it's useful for, right, Flynn? A chill descends over the room again, after it had just warmed up. I went there for the casino. The cigarettes were just, Flynn stops and frowns, looking confused and hurt. At this point, I start to feel myself wanting to stick up for him. The rest of the party is stiff and uncomfortable as Flynn stews in the corner. Finally, Leo stands up and tells us to get out to the car. Leo gives Flynn a look, and I can tell he's going to confront him on something. Quietly, I linger toward the door and listen as the rest of them head out. Oh, so now I just can't say anything to him, huh? Flynn. The look on Leo's face is deadly. His eyes are narrowed, ears flat against his head, teeth bared. Flynn's initial indignation cools and he backs up. You promised me that you wouldn't fuck this up. You said you wouldn't cause any problems. I was fucking trying to make things better. Can you read a fucking room? No one wanted you to say anything to him. What? So I'm just gonna let things stay like this for the whole week? Well, it's kind of your fault, isn't it? I'm trying to be nice to him. And did you see Jenna? She's not fucking helping. You know how TJ is. Just leave him alone. He's a fucking adult. He's not some little kid you have to protect. That's why it's been years, and the little shit still hasn't manned up enough to say what actually happened. Leo's hackles flare. See, this is what this is all about. You only want another chance at him. Leo's looking at Flynn with pure disgust on his face. Sounds like you think I just want to fuck him. I wouldn't put it past you, you slut. Flynn leans back with a smirk. Then I'm not the only one with ulterior motives, then am I? Flynn's eyes flick to me. Leo doesn't even say anything in response, instead just letting out a rough snarl. Flynn only flinches a little, but doesn't move, just folding his arms, staring hard at the wolf. I don't want to see you talking to him again this week. If you do, I'll shove your fat tail so far up your ass. Buy me a drink first. Chase, get out to the car. I jump as Leo snaps his head in my direction. I'm torn about this. I don't feel like Flynn did anything wrong in trying to talk to TJ. But if what Leo suspects is true, I think I need to, Alright, cool. Leo punches the door frame on his way out, swinging the door shut with a smash. Flynn retains his position against the back of the couch, arms folded, coolly chewing on his toothpick. We both listen to the sound of Leo's truck starting up, before it fades as they put out. I look over at the leftover cake on the table, wondering if I should clean up, just to give myself something to do. The glob of cream stuck to the side of the plastic dome gives me a jolt of genuine sadness at the mess this whole get-together has turned into. Flynn, meanwhile, retains his slouched sulking. Finally, the pressure's too much, and I feel I need to say something. So... As if that's his cue, Flynn turns on his heel and stalks out the door. Hey! I scramble to follow him out the door, feeling more annoyed than sorry for him at this point. Where are you going? Flynn doesn't say anything, as he walks up to the truck and yanks open the driver's side door. He slams it shut as I walk up to the door. The fuck? He finally does turn to me, then, shifting the toothpick around in his mouth before he speaks. What? What do you mean, what? You can't just take off. Why not? Flynn arches his prominent brow at me, and I struggle to think of what to say. It's not like he owed me anything. I didn't stick up for him at all back there. Was he expecting me to? As far as he knew, I just needed to get my project done. I just thought you could give me a ride. Flynn smirks at me. Where? The mine? Serious? I mean, it's a few miles away. You know it's sealed up and everything, right? Well, yeah, but it doesn't mean I can't get a few shots of the outside. Flynn sighs heavily, and that annoys me more than anything else. Whatever, man. I turn around and start heading up the road, not even sure if it's the fastest way to the mine. For the next 10 seconds, I walk briskly up the road, but Flynn's car doesn't start up. I already know that he's going to relent before he says it. Fucking hell. Hey! I turn around, trying not to smile. What? You know what. Get in. I try not to look too eager, as I make my way over to the passenger side and hop in. Think you're smart, don't you? I roll my eyes. I don't think anything. You're the one shooting yourself in the foot all the time. Whatever, man. I stare through the bars of rebar into the darkness of the old mine. There's a damp, cold breeze coming from inside, but all I can smell is dirt. Yeah, beautiful, ain't it? Might as well just slap that mine jail on our flag. Represents the town pretty good. Flynn leans against the truck, chewing on another one of his toothpicks. There's an unsettling feeling about the whole place, and I'm kinda glad Flynn is with me because of it. It's a good 3 miles from the town centre, and the gravel road is deserted. Our only company is a few crumbled ruins and foundations scattered every 20 feet or so. The only sign of modernity is an oddly placed long patch of asphalt and 2 tall lampposts at the end of it. The town had tried to turn the area into a tourist destination a decade ago, but the recession put a hard stop to that. There seems to be a running theme in this town's history, progress halted by outside forces. Don't you have some say in that? I mumble absent-mindedly, messing with the settings on the camera. No, I'm just a clerk. I just mess with records and shit. It's still hard for me to imagine Flynn working in that position. Shouldn't you be there now? It's still before 5? Maybe, but why bother? What? He looks at me, toothpick bobbing around in his mouth, eyes wide as he shrugs. What, you think anyone's gonna notice? I get paid to do nothing. But won't you get, like, fired and shit? It's an elected position. Well, unelected then? It goes unchallenged every year, Chase. I frown. Doesn't Flynn have any sense of duty? Flynn takes the toothpick out of his mouth and stabs it in my direction. Hey, I didn't bring you here to get lectured about how to do my job. I've been doing it the past 3 years. Flynn shoves the toothpick back into his mouth. Anyway, I was kidding. I'm part-time. I'll get my shit done and then I'll leave. Oh. I set the camera on the tripod and look through the lens. Don't me. There's a good amount of satisfaction I get out of teasing Flynn. I mean, your cousin or whatever is the mayor, right? My aunt is, and so what? Isn't that like nepotism or something? Flynn sighs heavily behind me. Elected? Alright, just seems kinda, I don't know, like not a good thing. As I film, I can hear him really starting to grumble behind me, so I tried to change the subject. Well, it's good to see you're still not smoking anymore. Are the toothpicks helping? Not right now, they're not. Flynn has smoked since he was a freshman in high school. I distinctly remember him offering me cigarettes when I was like 14. He always get pissed off, but I remind him about it. I pick up the camera and move it to a different angle. Well, maybe you could give Leo a few pointers. He doesn't say anything, and I close my eyes when I remember what just happened with the wolf. I film for another minute and then turn around to face him. I'm sorry about what happened. Flynn doesn't look at me, instead choosing to stare out at the desert. Why? You didn't do anything. But I could have, and this project is why we're here in the first place, isn't it? Flynn sighs and finally looks up at me, his eyes all the more piercing under the bright sunlight. You know, one thing I can't stand is people apologising over nothing. I frown. What does that mean? Yeah, you can apologise, but in the end all it's doing is making you feel better while fixing nothing. I glare at him, feeling my face get hot, even more than it is in the desert heat. He shrugs and leans against the car, head tilted back and eyes shut against the sun. I stalk over to stand in front of him and I can see a smile playing at the edges of his muzzle. Man, fuck you. On the last word, I jab a finger into his stomach. His eyes fly open and he grunts loudly, doubling over. Jeez, Chase. I fucking stayed in this shithole for you while everybody else is having fun and this is the thanks I get? Oh, so you stayed behind just for me? Flynn stays curled up, rubbing his stomach. His face is inches from mine, and he's still got that stupid grin on his face. You're an asshole. Ah, Chase, my heart. He clutches at his chest dramatically. More like his stomach. I poke at it again, but he reacts too quickly, his lithe torso bending out of the way. Can't keep your hands off me, can you? I just fold my arms, glaring at him. Flynn finally straightens up, looking around. Well, I'm not going to do a repeat of yesterday. I've got a house, you know? Is he talking about how he fooled around yesterday and that he's inviting me back to his house? Or, more specifically, his bedroom? I swallow. I don't want to look too eager, like that's the only reason I stay behind. You know, I'm a little hungry. You want to go out and get something first? Flynn snorts as he gazes down at me. What, from the diner? You know how that fucks me up? I have a think. You said you'd cook for me a few days back? Flynn sighs, rubbing a hand behind his head. What is this, some kind of date? Well, you said you preferred dinner first, before. I trail off as Flynn raises a brow at me. I said a drink. We can have that too. Flynn looks off into the desert again, thinking. Fine, but I'm going to get you back for that poke. I smirk. Yeah, oh god. As he turns away from me, his tail comes in and knocks against my crotch. It wasn't all that hard, but it's enough to make me feel it in the bottom of my stomach. Ah, fuck, come on. I walk bow-legged for a few seconds as I move to gather up my equipment. I didn't think that was an equal exchange. It's 'cause you ain't a lizard. Now, hurry your ass up. Okay, I guess we're gonna head off to Flynn's house and see how their little date goes in the next episode. This is Usho signing off, and hopefully I will see you next time.